Tonight on Global TV News Prime, court orders final for feature of 48 properties linked to ex-Attorney General of the Federation, Malami. In business, Nigeria's inflation eases slightly to 15.91%. On the foreign scene, Iran threatens to blockade more trade routes as United States launches fresh strikes. In sports, Flying Eagles handed tough Wafu B under 20 AFCON qualifiers draw. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder, Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276 and Free TV. And now the news in details. The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the final forfeiture of more than 40 properties linked to former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, after the ruling that assets were reasonably suspected to have been acquired through unlawful activities. Justice Joyce Abdulmalik dismissed objections filed by Malami, members of his family, and companies linked to the properties, holding that they failed to justify the legitimacy of funds used in acquiring the assets, although some properties were exempted from the order. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had sought the forfeiture of properties valued at about 212.8 billion naira located across Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, and Kebbi states. The Senate has again rejected a motion seeking an independent legislative investigation into the controversy surrounding the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, and its alleged Director General Adeniyi Adeyemi. Senate President Godswill Akpabio ruled that the matter was already before a court and under investigation by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) on President Bola Tinubu's directive, making a separate Senate probe unnecessary. Senator Suleiman Kawu, who sponsored the motion, insisted that the National Assembly still had a constitutional oversight responsibility despite Adeyemi's ongoing prosecution over alleged forgery, fraud, and impersonation. Meanwhile, the Senate has approved a 50 million naira donation to the families of the 5 Nigerians who lost their lives during the rescue operations to free school children abducted in Oyo State after 56 days in captivity. The resolution followed a proposal by the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, during plenary. Senators unanimously endorsed the donation, with each of the 5 bereaved families to receive 10 million naira each. Speaking during the session, Akpabio recalled that the Senate had on Tuesday commended President Bola Tinubu and the nation's security agencies for the successful rescue of the abducted pupil and their teachers. He also praised the Chief of Army Staff, the Director General of the Department of State Services, the Inspector General of Police, the Minister of Defense, and the President Tinubu for their roles in the operation. According to him, although the rescue mission was successful, it came at a significant cost with the loss of security personnel and teachers. Former National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has called for stronger democratic institutions, respect for the rule of law, and credible elections to sustain Nigeria's democracy. Ganduje made the call while delivering remarks at the public presentation of a book by Mbemba Kachuku in Abuja. Our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, has details. That report will be brought to you in our subsequent bulletin. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says the Tinubu administration has laid a strong foundation for transforming Nigeria's education sector reforms aimed at expanding access, improving skills development, and strengthening tertiary education. The minister spoke at the 2026 Education Summit organized by the Education Correspondents Association of Nigeria in Abuja. Education correspondent Priscilla Obasi tells us more.
The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, says the federal government has recorded significant milestones in education through the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, expansion of technical and vocational education and training, digital learning initiatives, curriculum reforms, and increased investment in research. Speaking at the ECAN Education Summit in Abuja, the minister noted that while progress has been made, challenges such as out-of-school children, inadequate infrastructure, teacher quality, and education financing requires sustained commitment from all stakeholders.
I'm going to direct you to our NESRI website, Nigeria Education Sector Renewal Initiative website. Just type it. All these reforms are there. You can just go there, and as journalists, please, I challenge you as Education Correspondent Association of Nigeria, you are the one that reports on us. Every one of you should go to that NESRI website. You get all the information that you need from that website.
Chairman of the Education Correspondents Association of Nigeria, Chuks Ukwatu, said the summit was designed to provide an independent assessment of the administration's education policies while encouraging evidence-based dialogue on the way forward.
Today marks a significant milestone, not only for ECAN as an umbrella body of journalists covering the education sector in Nigeria, but also for all stakeholders committed to building a stronger, more inclusive, and globally competitive educational system. The choice of our team, 3 years of the Tinubu administration, assessing reforms, progress, and challenges in Nigeria's education sector, reflects the need for an honest assessment of where we are as a nation.
The summit, which brought together policymakers, development partners, academics, school administrators, and education journalists, also featured presentation of award to outstanding individuals for their contribution to education development and human capital advancement. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television News.
The federal government is strengthening preparations against Ebola virus disease with the inauguration of a communication and diplomacy subcommittee under the Presidential Task Force on Ebola. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, who stated this at the inauguration in Abuja, reassured Nigerians that there is no confirmed case of the disease in the country. Global TV's Foreign Affairs correspondent Ramzi Enoch Agbo reports.
The Presidential Task Force was established by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and is chaired by the Chief of Staff to the President to coordinate Nigeria's preparedness against Ebola virus disease and other emerging public health threats. He says the inauguration of the Communication and Diplomacy Subcommittee is a proactive step to strengthen public awareness, enhance risk communication, and deepen collaboration with local and international partners in preventing the spread of the disease.
Let me express our profound appreciation to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his foresight in establishing this Presidential Task Force. This proactive decision reflects the administration's commitment to protecting the health and well-being of Nigerians through preparedness, coordination, and timely action. It is always better to prepare before a crisis than to respond after one has emerged.
The minister assured Nigerians that there is no confirmed case of Ebola virus disease in the country and urged the public to remain calm while adhering to health advisory issued by relevant authorities. He disclosed that surveillance has been strengthened at points of entry, health facilities have been placed on heightened alert, and measures have been intensified nationwide. He further stressed that all public communication on Ebola would be evidence-based, scientifically validated by the NCDC, and aimed at preventing misinformation and unnecessary public anxiety.
let me assure Nigerians that there is currently no confirmed case of Ebola virus disease in Nigeria. Our responsibility is to ensure that government speaks with one clear and coordinated voice, guided by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, the country's technical authority on disease prevention and control.
The committee also adopted a national communication strategy aimed at expanding media engagement and intensify public awareness campaigns in major Nigerian languages to ensure timely and accurate dissemination of information. Ramsey Enoch Agbo, Global TV News.
Former National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress (APC), Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, has called for stronger democratic institutions, respect for the rule of law, and credible elections to sustain Nigeria's democracy. Ganduje made the call while delivering remarks at the public presentation of a book by Mbembe Kachiku in Abuja. Sadia Yakubu reports.
Former APC National Chairman Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje says Nigerian democracy can only thrive when institutions are strengthened and political leaders put national interest above personal ambition. He urged political actors to remain committed to the rule of law, credible elections, and principled leadership, stressing that democracy must produce tangible benefit for Nigerians.
Democracy is much more than the conduct of elections every 4 years. It is built on enduring principles such as the rule of law, respect for constitutional order, an independent and credible electoral management body, vibrant political parties that practice internal democracy, a secure environment that allows citizens to participate freely in the political process, and the elections that are free, fair, and credible.
Speaking at the event, representative of the former New Nigerian People's Party chairman, Professor Alkali, said the book highlights valuable lessons from Nigeria's democratic evolution and underscores the need to strengthen institutions, uphold constitutional order, and protect the credibility of the electoral process.
The prolonged struggle to actualize the June 12 mandate not only polarized the nation politically, but also imposed enormous economic and diplomatic costs. The author also provides a balanced account of the political developments during General Sani Abacha's administration.
The event attracted political leaders, policymakers, academics, and other stakeholders who emphasized the need for a collective effort to safeguard Nigerian democracy and promote good governance. Sadia Yakubu, Global TV News.
The federal government has completed the evacuation of Nigerians affected by xenophobic attacks in South Africa, with the arrival of the final government-sponsored flight carrying 308 returnees. The aircraft landed at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on Wednesday morning. It conveyed 3 Nigerian government officials who coordinated the evacuation exercise. Footage of the arrival showed dozens of returnees, including women and children and families carrying luggage, disembarking from the aircraft and being received by officials at the airport. Many appeared exhausted but relieved as they moved through processing areas, while airport personnel coordinated their arrival and assisted them with onward movement. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, said the latest batch brought the total number of Nigerians evacuated from South Africa to more than 1,500. In a statement posted on her X, she said the final evacuation flight departed OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg at 6:30 a.m. South African time. Gunmen have abducted the principal of Government Secondary School, Olowa a National Examination Council ad hoc staff member, and 4 students during the ongoing NECO examination in Dekina local government area of Kogi State. Security sources say the attackers invaded the school while candidates were writing the examination and made away with them. Although one of the students was gotten back, others are still in captivity, and security agencies say they are making rescue efforts. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. News Prime continues after this break. We'll come back with business, foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
Thank you for joining us. This is the 24-hour cumulative rainfall forecast for Thursday, showing showers and thunderstorms will continue across much of the country, with rainfall ranging between light to moderate over the northern and central regions. Parts of Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, and parts of Kwara State are expected to receive between 50 to 20 millimeters of rainfall. The heaviest rain, however, will be concentrated much across the southern half of the country and the coastal regions. Moderate to heavy rainfall is expected, with the southeastern coast expected to likely record the heaviest total, locally exceeding between 150 to 200 millimeters. Areas at greatest risk include Rivers, Bayelsa, Imo, some parts of Abia, Imo State, Akwa Ibom, Cross River, and other coastal cities. With these rainfall amounts expected over the next 24 to 48 hours, there is an increased risk of flooding. Residents in vulnerable areas should remain alert, avoid flooded roads where possible, and follow advice from local authorities. Thank you for watching.
You're welcome back from that break. And in business now, the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says Nigeria's headline inflation rate has declined marginally to 15.91% in June from 15.93% in May 2026. The Bureau says this is the first decline in 3 months, with the month-to-month inflation rate also dropping to 1.66% from 1.75% in May. It adds that the figures indicated a slower pace in the rise of average prices compared to the previous month. Independent petroleum marketers and energy experts have opposed Dangote Refinery's decision to price petroleum products in United States dollars, warning that the move could increase pressure on the foreign exchange market and fuel price instability. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria says the policy could encourage dollarization of the economy, while the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association urged the federal government to sustain the crude for naira arrangement. However, some energy experts argue that the refinery's decision is a commercial response to foreign exchange risk associated with crude oil procurement and refinery operations. On the foreign scene, Sierra Leone has withdrawn treason charges against former President Ernest Bai Koroma over his alleged involvement in the failed 2023 coup attempt. The Attorney General's office says criminal proceedings have been discontinued, clearing the way for Koroma to return home from Nigeria whenever he completes his medical treatment. The decision comes after the former president was charged in 2024 following attacks on military and police facilities that left more than 20 people dead. Meanwhile, 6 allies of former Malian transitional president Pa Ngwa are standing trial in Bamako over an alleged coup plot nearly 5 years after their arrest. The defendants, including former security chief Colonel Kassoum Goita and former Presidency Secretary General Khalidou Doumbouya, denied the allegations and claimed they were abducted, tortured, and detained without due process. Their lawyer describes the case as politically motivated and says the trial offers the first opportunity to challenge the court process. Away from Africa to the Middle East, where Iran has threatened to block additional regional trade routes as the United States launched another round of air, drone, and naval strikes on Iranian military targets. Iran's Revolutionary Guards warned that the Strait of Hormuz would remain closed until Washington halted what it described as acts of aggression, while the United States says its latest attacks target coastal defense system and missile facilities. The renewed confrontation has heightened concerns over global energy supplies, with oil prices rising sharply as tanker movement through the strategic waterway slowed down. And now to sport. Nigeria's Flying Eagles have been drawn alongside Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso in Group B of the 2026 WAFU B-Under-20 Championship in Côte d'Ivoire. The regional tournament will serve as the qualifying competition for the 2027 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations, with the top teams earning places at the Continental Championship in Ghana. Defending champions Nigeria will begin preparations next week as they seek another WAFU B title and qualification for the Africa Cup of Nations. Defending champions Argentina are currently facing England in a blockbuster FIFA World Cup semi-final match, with Lionel Messi hoping to lead his side closer to a second consecutive World Cup title. Argentina reached the last four after victories over Cape Verde and Egypt, while England relied on the attacking partnership of Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham to secure their place in the semi-finals. The encounter is going to be the first competitive match between both nations since the 2002 World Cup. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. Earlier, we brought to you that the Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the filing for forfeiture of more than 40 properties linked to former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, after ruling that the assets were reasonably suspected to have been acquired through unlawful activities. In business, we brought to you that the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, says Nigeria's headline inflation rate has declined marginally to 15.91% in June from 15.93% recorded in May 2026. On the foreign scene, Iran has threatened to block additional regional trade routes as the United States launch another round of air, drone, and naval strikes on Iranian military targets. In sports, you heard that Nigeria's Flying Eagles have been drawn alongside Ghana, Togo, and Burkina Faso in Group B of the 2026 WAFU B-Under-20 Championships in Côte d'Ivoire. And that's it on News Prime. Here's a quick reminder. Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276. You can also watch us live on Free TV. Kindly follow us across all our social media platforms now displaying on your screen by using @Global TV NJ. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.